Welcome to Charter California Edition. I'm Brad Pomerantz, and we are joined by Judy Chu. She is a member of the United States Congress, also a member of the Judiciary Committee, which has jurisdiction over immigration issues, which obviously are critically important for many Californians, including and especially in your district. Recently, the president passed some executive orders to try to deal with the immigration question. Congress did not act last session, but a federal court in Texas got involved. What can you tell us about what's going on?
Yes, there was the judge in Texas that filed the injunction, or had a ruling about an injunction with regard to President Obama's actions. And actually, he did not comment on the content of the order itself. He mostly focused in on the process. As a result, it did halt any administration of the DACA and DAPA programs, which are the deferred action programs for children and parents.
Right, we've heard from supporters of those actions that, again, he did not rule on the constitutionality of the action.
Exactly.
But he just put a halt on the proceedings so the question can be evaluated. Interestingly, though, the president and his administration had gone in to try to get that injunction lifted because he said there was no irreparable harm. It could always be turned around, I guess you could say, but those orders have not been granted to date.
Not yet. However, there is a hearing that's going to be happening soon, and then it'll take some 4 to 6 months for the decision to come out.
So the plaintiff in this case, I believe, is the state of Texas. Is that accurate?
Yes.
So I'm wondering, and I know that you're not a lawyer, and I used to be a lawyer, so maybe I shouldn't ask this question, but why does the state of Texas even have standing to get involved in this? I mean, this is a federal issue, no?
Yes, but they are saying that it's causing them some problem to their budget.
Okay.
That they have to pay for things if these people become legal and are able to work. But actually, that is also a false contention, because there are fees that are associated with becoming legal.
Right.
So it would pay for itself.
So we know in California, though, I believe our state has gone on record in support of DACA and DAPA, I guess it's called. Our state legislature has gone on support. Our governor has. The city of Los Angeles has. I think the county has as well. Lots of different cities. What about in your area, in the San Gabriel Valley? What are you hearing from your local electeds, from your constituents?
Well, many are very, very supportive of the DACA and DAPA programs. And in fact, many are supportive of the Comprehensive Immigration Reform Bill, of which I was one of the 5 principal co-sponsors. And the reason is it fixes our broken immigration system. There is no way that 11 million people are going to be deported from this country. In fact, these undocumented persons are integrated into our society already. Many of them have spent 20, 30 years here already.
What do we do, though, when you consider that some people, quote, stood in line, went through the process legally, and these 11 million purportedly did not? You know, if you're at a cocktail party and someone says, Congresswoman Chu, why should they receive this preference? They broke the law. I mean, what's your sense of that?
Well, they will actually have to stand in line. That's what people don't understand. They will have the opportunity to be here and get a work permit, but it will take a long time for them to actually become a legal resident. It could take as long as 10 years.
And as I understand it, though, with the DAPA and DACA programs, do those not focus on dreamers, meaning children that were brought here who really had no involvement in their decision to immigrate to the States? Is that accurate?
Yes, their situation is even more poignant, because they were brought here as youngsters and grew up here. They know no other country, really, other than this country, and have primarily spoken English. They would be strangers in their own countries if they were sent back. So yes, this allows them the ability to stay here.
So where do we stand today? Surely the decisions will go through appeals, and we'll see what happens there. But when you put aside the legal machinations, in the final analysis, there needs to be some resolution. Where do we stand?
I think that this judge's decision will be overturned.
You do.
And I then want to ensure that we have as many signups as possible. What I want to make sure is that people still believe that it's important for them to sign up, that they don't have fear about signing up.
But yet, it's interesting you bring up that point, because there still does seem to be some fear in terms of getting involved with the government. And I look towards the Affordable Care Act as an example. As you know, under the Affordable Care Act, people who are, quote, legal citizens can sign up, but yet, especially in I shouldn't say especially, in many immigrant communities, there was some fear because in their home countries, you just don't get involved with the government, even if you are legal. You know, if you come from El Salvador or you come from communist China, I mean, you don't want to get involved. So how do you address those questions about fear of governmental involvement?
Well, that's why so many community groups and trusted leaders and their elected leaders are coming out and saying that this is an important thing to do, and that the more people that sign up, then the more people will be protected, and that there is nothing to fear.
So let's say, for example, that the decision's overturned and the program moves forward. Okay, for immigration reform proponents, that's a net positive, but it still doesn't address the underlying issue. I think about 5 million would be impacted.
That's right.
But there's still another 6 million, and even those 5 million, I believe it's, quote, a temporary fix. And so where do we go from here?
Well, I would like to see this program be as successful as it can be to lay the groundwork for a comprehensive immigration bill. This bill would have solved so many of our problems, from the high-tech workers to the problems that the agricultural industry is in getting workers.
Right.
It would have been such a great benefit for our nation.
And what's interesting about how the whole debate spun out is, I think the bill passed in the Senate 68 votes. That means there were a lot of Republicans. That was when there was a Democratic majority, so a significant number of Republican senators signed on. But even some members of the, quote, Gang of Eight have kind of disavowed their involvement in that bill. I think maybe Marco Rubio, senator from Florida, has disavowed his involvement. And so the environment on the issue question seems even more toxic.
Well, I think that Marco Rubio may have had other reasons for doing that, considering what's going on with the
presidential race. Yes, that's a side conversation. But be that as it may, it does serve as an example of how, look, I'm just one journalist, but I did feel as if 2 years ago, without any rooting interest, that there was momentum. I mean, 68 votes in the Senate is a lot. It's a lot of votes, especially when 55 of them were Democrats. That means, you know, they were able to get a nice number. And so I don't know if you can get 68 today, but where do we go from here in the House?
Well, I think we can pick up the momentum again. Now, remember that we actually did have the votes in the House, too.
Right.
We had all 200 Democrats, and we had 30 Republicans that indicated support, and you need 218 to pass a bill.
Discharge petition just couldn't get, even those that would have voted yes to sign the discharge petition?
Yeah, apparently the ones who were for the bill did not want to sign the discharge petition because they felt that would be too much of an affront to Speaker Boehner.
So, you know, I have a feeling that when you speak to your Republican colleagues from California, Colorado, Arizona, they understand your position and may align with it, and they may even agree to vote with your position. But how do you speak to folks, Republicans from, you know, Kentucky or Georgia, where immigration issues just aren't on top of mind for them?
Yes. Well, actually, though, there are immigrants in all these states.
Of course.
And they are part and parcel of the economy, working in service jobs all over. So actually, I think that every Congress member really would be touched by the broken immigration system in some way.
Do you feel as if there could be some movement? Is it in the 114th Congress? Is that the number we're in right now?
Well, I think it might be tough in this Congress. But I do think that in a future Congress it may be possible.
Her name is Judy Chu. She is a member of the U.S. Congress. My name is Brad Palmer. You're watching Charter California Edition. That is